Right at it. Right at it. Oh, he's done it again. Just as he did at the John Deere for his first win.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 100 of the Go Get That podcast. I am Bob, here with Bob and Bob. And
Bobs.
the three Bobs, just way too many Bobs. Way too many Bobs for
We're
most
taking
people.
over.
But yeah, it is Memorial Week, my favorite tournament of the year, besides the majors. But course is in pristine condition. I'll start with that. I was there today, and wedges were finishing 15 feet from landing spots. Just chills.
Forward, not
Um,
backwards. Correct.
What?
Not
Yes.
backspin. Forward.
No, it's like one huge. The sound that these greens are making are ridiculous. It's a big first hop, then a skid, check, and then release, which is kind of sexual in a way. It's kind of how you want greens to react. But yeah, I mean, Spieth hit 8-iron into 11 today after pitching out. So I guess he did miss one fairway, but he missed it straight. He just missed it through. So it's not the end of the world. And it one hopped over the green, landed it probably just short of middle. So that just goes to show you it's going to be tough. The one thing that I do dislike about when the greens get this firm here is it kind of makes. I mean, these are the best par fives in golf. This is the best par five golf course besides Augusta, maybe in the world. And it does kind of take away a little bit from that because it's just really hard to put balls on the green in two. But hopefully they jack up the sub air on the par fours and maybe let the par fives moist out a bit because honestly, I don't see anyone holding 11 from what I saw today. I'm sure it'll be done. I'm sure they'll figure it out to where they can get it there. But the way I saw it, I didn't see that happening. In terms of Mr. Spieth, drove it really well. Missed every iron left, every wedge left. 3 straight wedges in the bunker on 13 today before finally hitting a wedge on the green. You know, you hear the saying practice how you play a lot. And we were talking about Jordan and I were talking about the truest how Spieth is a bad practicer, but the pro-am only gives you so much, because like they're dealing with other people, they're kind of just trying to get through it. They don't want to be there. Tuesdays are real. You're just with yourself, Cam and Greller. Not many fans are out there today because of the weather, so I could really get an insight of like Spieth and Greller. Greller talked to me a few times because Greller was bored because Spieth and Cam were just yapping all round about some things. But the thing that I found really interesting and the thing that makes Tuesday practice rounds kind of interesting because I haven't really been to one besides Phoenix since the U.S. Open in 2022 is they practice a lot of the shots over and over and over again. And Spieth would hit the same shot over and over and over again, expecting a different result. And that I found very interesting. There were a lot of putts he was hitting where it was taking him a long time to do what he was trying to do. There was one hole where he was trying to get it like a 70-foot lag putt from the fringe to a back pin because there's a big runoff on the back. It took him 11 balls to get within 4 feet. He was kind of just hitting the same putt, expecting it to stop closer to the tee. A lot of bunker shots he was landing in the same spot over and over and over again, expecting it to, for some reason, not get a firmer bounce that time. And it was just interesting hearing all that being processed because I was kind of maybe one of 10 people following him today, so you could really hear what he was talking about. And he's like, why does this keep bouncing like this? Well, you just saw it do that. Like shot. Um, but that's kind of my spiel. That's kind of the big things I picked up on today. Swing looks a little bit different than last week. It's a lot slower. Pre-shot was on the range, wasn't on the course. Um,
Just a
so
chilling
yeah.
update to start. The line about the swing changing from last week is uh, unsurprising yet still quite hilarious. Because
Well,
I think
whatever
it
it was doing with
changed.
the approach play didn't work for 3 of the 4 days.
Yeah,
So
because it probably changed from Thursday to Friday. We didn't get to recap Colonial really. Um, so I don't know if we have a few quick thoughts on there before we re-dive into Memorial, but firm test at Colonial. Thought the course was awesome for what Colonial is and can be. Bob, you said it. Ben Griffin's a deserving winner. Like he's the type of dude that should have a PGA Tour win, given how he's played this year.
not named the Zurich.
You're right. Yeah, he deserved a
We won't be
proper
counting Zurich.
win.
No.
Um, so congrats to him. He was up 5 on Sunday, and I know he came back to the pack a little bit, but uh, Scheffler T4, what's new on a bad week? And then Spieth had a disappointing Sunday, I think. Disappointing back nine on Sunday. I mean, just
It's just
really the first nine of the week and the last nine of the week were probably the two most disappointing
what did
nines.
he finish?
2 under.
Total, 2 under.
Yeah, what was like the
Oh,
finish?
T36, I believe.
Okay, it's a little better than I thought. I thought it was like a T25, and I don't like the T25s in some of these events. I guess that event is a little bit different because there's a full. Actually, yeah, that's a stupid point because that point doesn't really apply to. I guess my point is that T36 is a T21 in a signature event. That was my point, but I forgot last week wasn't a signature event. So
That's fair
Statistically
enough.
looking, the T36 at the Schwab was quite a bit better than the T34 at the Truist that we saw, which
well, that was
would
horrible.
make sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we didn't see much
Also,
good.
I think too, the back nine on Sunday was kind of tough. I know it was playing hard, but 4 bogeys in 9 holes, when you can just save 2 of them and it's a T21 or something like that, and it just feels a little bit cleaner. I think if you take the week as a whole, Jordan and I talked about this a little bit since the reconstruction of Colonial in 23. He doesn't know how to putt there anymore, which is kind of sad in some ways. There's probably better words to describe that. And by all means, you can go ahead and name them. Uh, I'll leave it at sad for now. A lot of misreads. I thought he pushed a few putts. I had a rant on Friday evening about him thinking he was starting them on good lines. I slightly disagree from the PGA Tour and Worm Cam, but
Worm
uh,
cam.
that's you know,
I have an
just
interesting
my set
tidbit.
of eyes. Well, one sec. Let me
Okay.
I just had one final thing. But if you look at the week as a whole, uh, the only thing he lost was with the putter, half a shot. You turn that into half a shot gain, which has kind of been his rolling average throughout the season. All the putters cooled off recently. You're looking at a T11.
One way to put it.
So it's like I'm not really sure what to make of it all. The approach play being bad the 3 days after it was great on Thursdays. I think the most pertinent story. And clearly it looks like things have been fixed. Uh, that's sarcasm going into Memorial here. So go ahead, Bob, if you had something.
Yeah, yeah. This just reminded me of something that I saw today because you mentioned the putter, and then I will give my colonial thoughts. Denny McCarthy, I saw a lot out there today. Oh, you guys are gonna love this one. Um, I saw Denny out there a lot today. He was playing. I wouldn't say he's playing right behind Spieth, but I saw him practice. Like everyone kind of just plays by themselves and does their own thing. But they have the holes marked for the week, and Denny will putt to them a lot. Um, and besides like 40-foot lag putts, Spieth didn't putt to a hole once all day. Um, Besides the putting green, like on the course, he didn't putt anything out. He didn't practice few putts to the Sunday pin. I find that interesting, because like he puts these 40 footers in the practice rounds and he makes them in the real round. Because I just I he's not a good putter this season. I'm sorry, that's the best way I can put it. I don't know how to separate mid range to long range and short putting because he is stealing so many shots gained by just making a 30 footer twice a tournament. And those are the ones he practices in practice round days. So I just find it interesting. I feel like if you putt 16 putts every green in your 3 days of practicing, you can at least have a feel that you saw a 5 footer from every angle to every pin. I don't understand why he doesn't even try that. That's kind of my thing. Is he's really struggling on misreads from 5 feet because he says he's hitting his lines and I believe him, but it fascinates me that Denny McCarthy is hitting 8 footer to the Sunday pin, 8 footer from another angle to the Sunday pin, and Spieth doesn't practice any of that on the. So I just found that interesting because I don't know how to separate long range and short range because he is a good long range putter. He's a very talented judger of speed. He always has been. It's kind of the one thing that hasn't really left him. Even his three putts are usually caused by missed shorties, not the lag putt. So I find it very interesting that he hasn't practiced those inside of 10 feet putts just to see like how they're reacting on Tuesday to maybe get that memorization for if you have a similar putt on Saturday.
I have a theory behind it. Well, not
Sure.
really a theory, but I think Spieth disagrees with you, and I don't think Spieth is very concerned with his putting right now. I think he's very much more concerned with the chip shots from 40 feet at Colonial that we saw that were played to 10 feet.
He does. He practiced a lot of chips. I think
Yeah,
he is very concerned about the short game.
I think he mentioned in an interview at Colonial how he's just very disappointed in just like easy shot strokes like that he's throwing away. Um, I think he feels really good with the putter. I mean, compared to the wedge play that we've kind of seen for the last 2 years now, and just the chipping from easy spots that turn into fives and stuff. I mean, I fully agree that he should be practicing the putts. Don't get me wrong. But I'm kind of like in this like mental state that he thinks if he reads the green well, that the putts will fall.
Well, here's my take. I don't think he's necessarily wrong. Like, I mean, this is a lot for a certain brain to take all in. But, I mean, if you're hitting your lines every putt, which it seems like because he hasn't been up and out of many, it seems like he is hitting his lines. If the whole problem is reading the greens, I feel like that makes it even more reason to see what those putts are doing on Tuesday.
Yeah,
You
I
make
would
a fair point.
wonder where the reading the green part though is like
Like,
if
where
if
does
we
it
look
come
at
to? Let's practice that.
yeah, but if we look at the last few weeks, right, Truist first time being there, Colonial, he just can't seem to read those. It's now three straight times where he just hasn't putt well there, and that's maybe something a bit different. Quail, um, yeah, Quail wasn't very good. I don't have a much of a thought there, but I think it has been three sort of straight events of two of them are, I guess Truist is new. Colonial, he just has been bad at for a few times now. And Quail, I guess you could just chalk it up to a not good Thursday. That's obviously the overly optimistic view of all of this. But what Jordan said too about the chip shots, I think, is one kind of tie back to Colonial leading into this week. It's not that the short game is bad because the spectacular is still there. The
Yeah.
tough shots are still good. They're still well played for the
Yeah.
most part. But it's like when there's and he said it today. He actually had a great interview that Jordan put on his story. And he said it today that it's like the routine stuff, the chips that you'd expect to hit inside of 4 feet, 3 feet, eight, 9 times out of 10. I mean, last week on even on Sunday there were probably two or three chips that were like he left outside of 8 feet that I think I
Yeah.
could hit closer.
Yeah.
And
I,
you
w- I
know,
wouldn't I wouldn't dispute it.
yeah. And it's like, well, that just doesn't.
If
I don't. That seems like something that could be. The good news is that's something that I think can fix itself
you can, I feel like
pretty
that's the one
quickly.
part of his game you can kind of still attribute to rust. I feel like that could take time because that's all feel, those easy shots. It's literally just stepping up to it and being like, my talent is going to put this to a foot, and I know this is going to go to a
Well,
foot.
right,
And
and the slight mental aspect of
yeah,
like I can't just like slightly switch off here. Like I have to
yeah, I
be.
have two. I feel like I agree. Just based on what I saw today, I think that if there was a specific part of the game where Spieth is sitting in his bed at night with a big warning sign on in his head, it's those chips because he was getting very frustrated even today, just putting like on 11, that side hill, like fairway area, like the bailout area.
Yeah,
He was like 5 feet off that to a middle pin.
Loves a bailout.
And what?
He loves a bailout.
But like just a 15-yard pitch. And in 6 tries, closest one was like 6.5, 7 feet. And he was frustrated with it. He was very, very frustrated with it. And I think that he knows that those like the gimme up and downs are not gimmies, and I think that that's something that he's very aware of. I mean, I didn't see him chip to tap in range to any of the tees very often today, which stinks because it feels like that used to be something that we could always rely on. But I do think that that's the one part of his game where I'll give him time. I think that that eventually just has to come back. Just because he was so good with that his entire career, it never really dipped down.
also
So
there's a possibility it's like now that he's thinking about it, it's almost like trying too hard in a sense to
yeah,
do
like I bet Scheffler steps up to that chip and doesn't even think about it. He's just like, okay.
right. And Spieth's like in the area kind of just before that where it's like he
Scheffler's
can't
probably
just be
thinking,
that.
I need to hold this out.
Yeah,
Whereas
right.
Spieth's being like, I have got to get this up and down. I'm losing too many shots here.
Yes, I think
So
exactly. And then you see some of the harder shots like opening, what was it, Saturday at Colonial
yeah.
with, I mean, not, not an unroutine bunker shot, but the expectation isn't for it to be,
Yeah, I mean he holds
stone dead and then he holds it.
yeah,
Like
he
that's
holed
kind of
two in a
the
row
point
today to the Sunday pin from long of the green on 18.
on what hole?
Yeah, on 18. That's a
Oh,
tough chip down the hill.
What do
You
you
have
do?
to
He
basically
hold
land
it?
it in the fringe. What?
He hold it?
Well, he hit the tee,
Did
but
you give
yeah,
him a clap?
no, no. But he did that twice in a row. Like those shots are hard, and you're like, for some reason, it's the ones from easy lies in the rough or fairway. It's not even like the deep rough ones. It's the sitting up or in the fairway. And yeah, I think that Dan, you're kind of right. I think it might just be he's thinking about it a little bit too much.
It's,
Um,
I mean, I don't want to say I'm the smartest person in the world, but if you look at his approach stats from the rough, they're typically very good. You get in the fairway, he's thinking mechanical from the fairway. How do I do it? It's the same thing with the chipping. When you have an easy chip, he's thinking mechanically, how am I going to hit the ball, get it to spin, check up to 2 feet. When he's got something hard, he's thinking, how am I going to pull it off? Because you're not thinking, how are you going to pull off an easy chip? It's why he's like really good with his approach shots from the rough or
And I
the
think that
sand.
that
And
goes back even to the mindset
yeah,
of if you're trying to put it to 3 feet versus holding it, now all of a sudden your floor is a lot worse from I just think that the mindset from like it gets lazy in a way. Like it's almost like when he's in the fairway, he doesn't think sharp enough. You know what I mean? Like he doesn't think about a specific target. He's like, okay, I have a wedge in my hand. This is the swing I have to put on it, and it's going to be good. And he's
But
not thinking about, okay, I need to land it here. It's going to bounce here, which is what Scheffler thinks every iron shot. And I
right,
he's in
just think
his
there's a
own
lot.
head.
There's a
yeah,
lot going on up there
agreed. I
for
think
sure.
it's nice to hear that the wrist feels fine to play 5 weeks. And hopefully this is a good week. I think it's a on paper, uh, given how he's driven it, I think it could be a decent course fit. If
Yeah.
the iron play decides to participate. Um, oh shoot, what was I gonna say? Oh, but I think the point about hitting out of the rough is just like it's not um a swing thought, it's a shot thought. It's like how do I hit the shot? Out of the fairway, it's a swing thought. It's a okay, how do I swing it to hit the ball instead of just hitting the ball to where it
Yeah.
needs to be? Um, and I'm
It's a
kind of
hundred
hoping that
percent right.
maybe he's a little um like we're just in a weird kind of phase before it gets figured out where it's just sort of it's more mental than it is mechanical. Specifically with the um like I'm not long term I'm not worried about the short game. The iron play hasn't been good. It's been inconsistent. He was late so often last week. The flares right were brutal. So it's kind of nice that the pull lefts are here. Means at least the hands and the click are getting out in front a little bit, right? Like, I, who knows what this week has in store with the iron play, but
That means
um,
Oakmont will be the meshing of the two.
right. Well, yeah, but that's the other thing though, is like I don't think even as bad and kind of inconsistent and maybe frustrating as it is, I think it's kind of the same thing. Like a spectrum of like where he's at with his timing, and sometimes it's just a little late, and then sometimes it's just a little early, and he's still trying to figure out how to get it in that like green middle part. You think of like a 2K shot meter basically. And
Where your
so
drive, man.
it's I really do think it's close, even if it looks like the results don't say it's that close.
Yeah.
And all it'll take is
I mean,
one. Even at Valspar, all it took was 4 holes on Thursday afternoon to click it into gear. But at some point you'd like it to be clicked into gear permanently. Um, and I think we're just gonna have to keep sort of grinding away at that, and um, be nice to see a solid start, a solid Thursday, and see
yeah.
what some momentum and early confidence does for the
I
game.
mean, I want to go to a point that you said, which was you think he's closer. Sorry. You think he's closer than maybe this uh shots are show. I mean, Ricky Fowler said, and not that Ricky Fowler's the example.
There's nothing like starting a sentence with related to golf and golf
As
swing
Ricky
and
Fowler
performing
said.
well with
But
Ricky Fowler said.
Ricky Fowler said that out here the lines are they're so slim because of how good these guys are that sometimes you can be really close to while not seeming it, which is because it's Ricky Fowler, but
Well,
it's not a word we said because Ricky Fowler a month ago stunk and he's fired 2 7-unders in the last 3 weeks. So on pretty hard golf courses too.
That's fair.
yeah.
I think
On the harder side, I mean,
yeah.
of PJ Tour spectrum.
Right. They were playing somewhat
Yeah.
challenging. Although the morning he shot the 64 at Colonial, it was the easiest it played all week.
I guess the morning at Truist was also just what it played all week.
Regardless.
Point stats.
Right. We'll accept that point. Uh I just part of it doesn't feel it seems to me he's more frustrated because it's close, not because he's lost. It's like a frustrated because it should be better, not a frustrated because I don't know what I'm doing. And I think there's still obviously some sense of like I don't know
Yeah, I
how
don't
to
think he's
do it
lost.
perfect every time. But I don't think it's not two or three different things creating it mistakes or issues. It's the same thing, just either an overcorrection or an undercorrection, so to speak. And I guess we'll see if the new the new swing this week has a little bit more uh kind of perfect timing. Um, but it doesn't seem like Tuesday was a great start in that category.
Maybe Wednesday will be better. I mean,
Maybe. Is
uh,
it
uh,
supposed to rain Wednesday? Will you even be out there?
Uh,
Pro-Am?
I mean, it's raining all night. The sub air there is good, but I don't know. I mean, I'll be there.
you'll be
Hopefully he
there.
shows
Spieth
up.
should be there. Hopefully he shows up. Well, he got a sponsor exemption to play this week, so he better get his rear
It was
end out there.
him walking off 15. The people on 15 green were like, "What is he doing? What is he doing?"
You'll have
I
to
mean,
rehash the story because
it was an incredible scene. I've never seen anything like it. He was playing the back nine. He hit his approach shot into 15 that started like it looked like it was going onto another property and ended up on the complete other side of the hole. I lost it in the sky. It was just a massive slice. And by the kick it got, I thought it went into the water, but it went into the bunker. And I'm behind the green because I want a good shot at the shot. And I just kind of look at them talk to each other for like 3 minutes. And then all decide to turn around and walk in without going to get the ball. They radioed a guy to go get the ball out of the bunker and just walked straight back and just stopped.
well,
And then he
didn't he
played the
play?
18th hole
Yeah.
with Matty Schmidt.
That's
Good guy.
Just it I mean,
that's
it was just one of those things that just makes you feel like everything Spieth does, he doesn't pre-plan. He just kind of does. Like, there's no way that was pre-planned in any way. Like, that wasn't discussed on the 14th fairway. Like, that decision was made right then.
Well, could you imagine being on 14 and being like, "Hey, Mikey, like, let's just hit an approach in a 15, and then we'll go to 18T."
Yeah.
Like that just
But
makes no sense. That's hilarious.
no, I mean, granted, the sky was misting, but I mean,
It's tough for those Texas fellas when the rain
yeah,
starts pouring. What
Water
tough
what'd
for
you
doesn't
those
talk to
face.
multimillionaires to play golf.
yeah. What'd you talk to Greller about?
He said he hoped ASU won the Natty, but they lost today in heartbreaking fashion.
You didn't give him a go blue.
No. Did you see where I ended up for dinner tonight, Dan?
Go blue.
Fair
We will not be mentioning that man's name.
enough. Yeah, no, he
Jacksonville Jaguars head coach of the former variety.
Yeah, for like
yes.
2 months.
Yes.
One of the worst NFL hires of all time. Because he
They
realized he
didn't trust the
couldn't.
process.
They realized he
Jaguars would be in a
couldn't.
great spot right now if they'd kept him.
Yeah. They went from him to Duval.
Mr. Cone. Mr. Cone.
Yes. But
I had one more speed thought. I
yeah.
do like the lefts more than the rights. I think the swings
Yes.
are better.
Jordan and I were
I'd
talking
rather
about
him be quick in
funny.
transition than look lazy. And
He was like, I would much rather have the pulls than the flares. And I thought it was hilarious because it's like, I
The
mean,
way it
obviously we want the
sounds.
straights, but if those aren't going to exist, we'll
Yeah,
take the lefts over the
we'll
rights.
take the lefts.
to the naked eye, the lefts
You
look
know,
better
it's
than the
funny
rights.
because for a normal average golfer, right is always better than left. But for some reason, for Spieth, that's just not the case.
His
Yeah.
right swings are just to
He
the
plays
naked eye
better. Like he looks like he can win golf tournaments with left misses sometimes.
because the swings are
Like
more committed. When
he
he
had the
misses
lefts
right,
at Honda
Yeah. No, he's played his better golf
all
with the
week.
lefts
Yeah.
for sure.
when he misses
He's got a
right,
good batch of lefts.
he's thinking when he misses right because he's trying to get it sequenced it up and he's trying to slow it down to get the club face where it needs to go. And it
You know,
when he misses left, he just gets quick, which
yeah.
is that happens.
The the lefts are funny that you mention it, and I'm now tying this back to the truest range sessions that you guys saw, where he hit predominantly fades and then pops onto the course and starts slinging it from right to left. And the rights are bad because you know he's trying to hit a draw. And so I'm wondering, like, does he just not have a fade with the pitching wedge or a gap wedge or a lob wedge? Like
Yeah,
all the
he likes to
quicks,
draw with the wedges. He always has.
He
all
certainly
the
can flight a shot.
yeah, all of the short irons are draws. And for the
Which
most
is
part,
so weird
he'll fade in a wedge occasionally.
because all the short irons and wedges at Honda were fades and they were all good. Remember, he made all of his birdies when he had those like 110-yard shots that one week. He would just throw it to 3 feet with a baby fade.
Well, and that's I think part of that
There's just
is
no
like
consistency.
it's like if you're gonna get quick and left, why not feel like you're holding the face and let it fade? I mean, maybe that's easier said than done, but
I
that's what
mean,
I do.
holding the face, let it fade, that swing thought coming from a golfer is just a bad place to be.
Okay. Okay.
It's just not a thought that consistently will work well for you.
Okay. Fair
Because
enough.
then you will end up double crossing over and over and over again, or you will block the hell out of it.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Well, I
mean,
mean, that's kind of
it's
where we
easier
are
for
now, right?
professionals, but I've never heard anyone who thinks holding the face is means your swing's a good thought, like
Okay.
good space.
Fair enough. We can scratch that.
He
But I
also
think
has a
there's
15-year outlook, so he doesn't really care about the week to
true.
week.
True. 10,
So
10 to
holding the
15.
face is a temporary solution,
Right. That's a
which he doesn't
band-aid
like.
on the swing. Um,
I like how in 6 months, instead of 9 years, 6 month outlook, it's now 15-year outlook. I like how the
yeah.
time's gotten shorter and the outlook's gotten longer. But
You gotta adjust your goals occasionally.
yeah, I mean, it was fascinating though out there to see just like the way they kind of like they're an interesting camp.
Yes.
They're an
You
interesting
don't
camp.
say.
Yes.
Um,
I have a question for you.
yeah.
Does he drop like the quad, the GC quad on all the iron shots or like when he's practicing out there, or is it only on the range?
No, there are players that do that.
Okay.
He
I was
doesn't do
wondering
that.
if he
Maybe
did.
on tee shots, but
Yeah,
nah, nah,
that's
he
good.
doesn't really do that. Hey, you want to know what was interesting today was watching how technical he was
Oh,
with his like chips. Like not even the easy ones, but like the ones from the rough. Cam was like telling him where to put his hands. I'm just like, what is he saying?
McCormick does not like what
But
he sees right now.
no, no, no. But they were laughing all day. They had a good time.
Yeah.
I'd be
Until
laughing
15.
too, missing greens over and over again.
Yeah.
Until
But
15.
no, no, it all jokes aside, it's fascinating to see how their brains work because they're then for better or for worse, their brains work very
Yeah,
they all work the same way.
somewhat. Yeah. There's some elite.
It's kind of my theory as to why through all of this there's been no changes to caddy or coach. I think all three of them, their brains just kind of work the same way. Like I don't think Spieth could pick up a caddy off the side of the block and be able to get
No,
his brain working the way he wants.
no,
No.
that would be like putting he who shall not be named as the head coach of the Jags. Like that,
Oh,
that's just not a match, I don't
yeah.
think.
I don't think there's a match for that specific position based on
Yeah.
the owner, based on what
Um
he's done.
no, I think Spieth, if he got rid of Greller, I think it would be an awkward like 5 caddies in 2 years type of gig.
Agree.
I really do think it could be that way.
Our Greller train. There were some there, but he's very good at what he does. It's also tough to keep up with Spieth, whose brain sometimes won't even listen to the caddy's thoughts.
Yeah,
Spieth hits the shots.
Yeah.
yeah.
I,
Ultimately too, I think
I
it's crazy how his brain still. I mean, maybe it was, we're 10 years removed from when he was 21, but the fact that it's like still rolling at 150 miles an hour at 10 years, 12 years seasoned on tour now, it's kind of crazy. Like it's all go. And there's a reason Greller is grayer than he was 12 years ago. Like
Gray hair per
that's
bogey.
uh when a
No.
few black hairs come back after an eagle.
Yeah.
Speaking
As
of,
well
another
as a
20 bucks.
$20 donation.
Yes. He has been quite good with the Eagles this year.
Yes. Yes. He
So
has
congrats
loved our
to the
donations.
Spieth Family Foundation. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't know if you guys have any thought or any. I mean, I'm happy to keep rolling on Spieth.
$548 donated so far.
Pretty good.
Yeah,
It's good for
it's
him.
pretty
And
good. Let's make it
um,
780 this week or something like that.
yeah. No, let's go. Let's go
Do it,
roll
man.
a green box, a dark green box.
How about a gold trophy?
Well, I think considering what we heard about how Tuesday went, I think champions usually finish the 15th hole on a Tuesday, but
Yeah, I don't think he was enjoying his round by any means.
um, what was I gonna say? Oh, the other big news today was, well, actually, there was a couple other kind of funny things. Jack Nicklaus was kind of up in arms that McIlroy's not at his event.
It's
Um,
completely rightfully said.
Yeah, McElroy didn't have the balls to call him and say I'm not coming.
I just think here's my take. I have no problem with Rory McIlroy wanting to grow the global game, but if you're gonna choose the India Open over Jack's tournament, the least you can do is give him a call. I mean, it's a very easy call.
I'm gonna go out on a tangent here.
Please do. I'm looking forward to this.
Rory's kind of a dick and an asshole, and we're a PG-13 podcast, but Jack took time out of his schedule to talk to Rory about the Masters pre-Masters. You guys remember that?
Yes.
And Rory didn't have the balls to give him a call to say he's not playing his tournament after all Jack did get on that phone call and talk him through Augusta National.
Yeah. Not even a call to Barbara.
Well
I
said.
no,
I,
that's a fair way to look at it. I think I hadn't quite viewed it that way. Um, but especially after winning the Masters, like
Here's
and not that he owed it to play it, but I do kind of agree. A little something would have been
here's my thing
just
and why.
because then it wouldn't be a story. If he called, it would be a kind of a
Yeah,
sweet moment, and it would just all blow over, and we wouldn't talk about it. But now it's a headline, and who reported it? D-Rap, didn't he? Made the initial tweet that got
I
all
think
the
it
the
was.
clicks and
Yeah.
views.
Credit to Mr. Rapp.
Yes. Yes. I here's my thing with like every week Rory says something that rubs people the wrong way. In my opinion, I don't think there was ill intent, like to not call Jack. Like he wasn't sitting in his room as like I'm gonna stiff Jack of a call. Like that wasn't happening. But like I just think I think his problem, I don't think he's a horrible guy. I just think he's Jordan
I'm
disagrees.
just joking. I
Bob
don't think he
disagrees.
is either.
I just don't think I think he's very full of himself. I think
I
he
tend to
I
agree.
think the thought of calling Jack probably didn't even enter his mind. I think that when he says something on a random week that rubs someone the wrong way, it's purely because it's what he's thinking and thinks he can say anything however he wants and he can do no wrong. That's where I'm coming from.
Yeah. No, it's fair. I don't really give a crap about how these guys act with their own property or anything like that. Like, I think Jordan's a great human being, but like, he signs for everyone every event he goes to. But like, I don't care about that. Like, I'm gonna make an inference how I think you act at home when you're just around strangers at a restaurant or something like that. Are you courteous there? And the
Yeah.
vibe that I get with Rory is he's kind of stuck up. That's just my opinion of how I
He's
think
stuck
he
up
acts
so
at
good.
home.
I don't think he's I think that he's very listen. You could say that about a lot of really good athletes though. Like I mean, when you're that good, there is a sense of cockiness of I'm that damn good. And I just think I think that these situations are good for him. I think he needs to be kept in check. I truly don't think calling Jack ever crossed his mind.
No, no, he wasn't trying to stiff
So
him.
Yeah, I think if it did cross his mind, he would have called.
I agree. I agree.
He'll call
Um,
him now that it got reported.
do
Yes.
you?
Got a save face.
I'm not sure he will.
I don't care either
No, I'm
way.
sure he'll apologize at the next press conference.
No, it wouldn't surprise me if Rory doubled down
He
and
may
said, "Why do I
actually.
need to
Now that I
call
think
him?"
about it, he may.
Um, but I don't know. I just thought it was interesting. I guess I just don't really care that much. I think it's kind of funny for Jack to like bring that up,
He
but
was
I
asked
get
about
well,
it, I
he was
think.
asked about it, yeah. But what do you have like do you know what the question was? Was it just like, are you
The
surprised Rory's
question
not here, or
was,
was it?
when did you find out Rory wasn't playing? And you said 4 days ago.
Oh, okay, yeah. I don't know. I just thought it was interesting. There's also the Tour Championship has been changed a little bit. No starting strokes. And if you win that week at East Lake, you win the Tour Championship. And I think it was also reported that they're looking to move locations for it, post 27. Um, Thoughts on Spieth's odds to win the Tour Championship climbing ever so
Well,
slightly?
unfortunately, the field size didn't increase, so the odds aren't changing too much. um, but no, in all seriousness, I don't really care. At the end of the day, the Tour Championship will never be that meaningful. I mean, I like you can't tell me that the FedEx Cup is more important than the players. And when your signature event for your league is not the season ending tournament, no one's going to care in the long run. So I don't think it matters. I think that if you want to make it entertaining, You do match play. I think it's
I'd
how
agree.
you get the fans interested and make it unique. If you're just making another stroke play event, it's just not as big as the players. So
Yeah,
you're failing there.
I think that's actually really well said.
You know how
I
many
do.
player
There were
fist
there was
pumps you would get if it was match play?
Yeah.
yeah there was reporting that the players didn't want match play.
Well, the players don't like adversity. Match
Yeah.
play would require more rounds of golf,
Well,
and they don't like showing up without.
Cantlay was probably firmly against match play.
Yeah,
yeah. Kelly needs to
he
go
probably
back to
was.
his folding chair in his wine valley or whatever.
Yes, sir.
My thought is that I think ultimately I think it's just a stopgap. I think they just didn't want to do the starting strokes anymore. I don't see this being the format for the next more than 3 years. Any good tour would take this as a buffer and a band-aid. But again, this is the P Tour run by Monahan. So who knows if actual planning is going on behind the scenes of this. Um,
No,
but
I'm
I
sure
think
this
it,
was settled in his back in the archives for years
yeah,
down the road. Where you'll revisit it.
right. But I do think it's a step in the right direction in the sense that it makes the players, you know, if the players don't want match play, then you can't have your products not like the game that they're playing. Um, and I think that
Oak wants in 2 weeks.
right. And I think that stroke play is like, all right, so you've earned a spot into the tour championship. And say, just hypothetically, right? Say Keith Mitchell wins it, so to speak. It's like Keith Mitchell is not the best player in the world this year, but he won, in theory, one of the biggest events. Like, if Rory has a problem with that, then I would tell Rory that he should have got his game and gear for the tour championship. And I think that ultimately is how you create golfers caring about it more. If they don't care, they won't ever care. But if they get a little pissed off that
Keith Mitchell
somebody,
won $15 million.
well,
Yeah.
yeah, and that's not to necessarily slight Keith Mitchell, but
No.
he's not one of the top five guys in the world, or or on the season. But like if
It
Pavon
will make
wins the tour championship,
You're right. It will
like
make players like
it might invigorate them a little bit to be like, wait a second, I'm not crowned as the champion. But I think ultimately,
the
to your
work.
point, Bob, like not having the players be the main, like I wouldn't move the players to August, but they're in kind of a weird spot where every other
I'm
sport, like you trend towards the end, and here it's like you trend to get into the end, and now it's how can
I'm
you
not saying
motivate
that.
players to get it at the end?
I'm just saying that if it's not going to be the if it's not going to be the biggest stroke play event of the year, if you want it to have any identity, it's got to be another format. I think that your point about the invigoration is correct because if Keith Mitchell wins this year, and Keith Mitchell is going to really thrust this week after all of the
Yes,
digs we've given on him. But
I would. I'd put him down for first round leader this week.
yeah, I'm actually going to do that as we speak.
That's what he does.
But what was I saying? If Keith Mitchell wins the Tour Championship this year, Rory McIlroy's legacy immediately declines because those two
Keith
FedEx
Mitchell.
Cups mean less. So that would piss them off.
Sad to report Mitchell is not in the field this week.
Oh, what?
But
Yeah.
Kuchar is?
Mitchell is fourth alternate.
It's a tough break.
Sned's in the
Mitchell
field.
probably loved to see
Yeah,
Spieth heading off the
Sned's in the field.
15th.
Sneds. Thank you for Sneds.
Um, what was I
Regardless,
gonna
I just
say?
think that I mean, I like to compare tennis and golf because their schedules are similar. The and I think they handle their finals pretty well because it in tennis is a different sport, obviously. If you have 8 guys in tennis, 3 of those can win. Whereas if you have 8 guys in golf, all of them can win. But still,
Depend who the eight
like
are.
they what?
Depends who the eight are.
Yeah, I guess that's true. But but like they do pool play. Like they change the format up a little because if you just do a regular draw like they do, like it's never going to be as big as the 1000s. It's never going to be as big as the slams. And I don't think the tour is trying to make it bigger than even the players. I don't think they're ever even trying to get it bigger than the majors. But my point more is if they want it to be that next big thing, it's not. Like it
Well, yeah,
doesn't feel like that. Like
not
maybe, and
yet.
honestly, I'm just so used to the course. Maybe it's East Lake because East Lake doesn't get me excited in the morning. That might be it. But I don't know. I think something's got to change in terms of the way the tournament's played. I don't think the importance should be the best team, the best player should win it most years. I think the importance should be it's got to be different, it's got to be exciting, and it's got to be fun for people to watch.
That's fair. I see where you're coming from, and I don't disagree with it. But I do think that maybe a venue change and sort of back to this idea of everybody starts at even, and if you want to be considered the tour champ, you got to go win that week. I think is kind of it's more similar to other sports, and I think it can create its own narratives a little bit more. Where like I mean, we keep going back to this sort of Keith Mitchell example. But if he wins and somebody's jealous of that because they had a better season than Keith Mitchell, then they got to get their game in gear for ultimately what's supposed to be the event that they now care about. Um, and I think that changing the starting strokes, removing them, gets the tour on the right path to adding some spice in the competitive way to this event. Um, Even if it's maybe not as fun or what the fans want. But my other thought was I think this should be what the Century Tournament of Champions was, where if you won a normal event, even if you're not in the top 30, I think you should be there. And then the playoffs should play out how they do. And it should be all the winners and the final um, you know, 15 guys or so that get in
Interesting.
there. And maybe you make it 40 so that you can get a little bit more. Because
I
there's probably what, 25 winners a season?
Yeah, I think that maybe it's even just all of the winners plus the 5 best players that aren't winners. Maybe it's just that.
Well, and that makes it more competitive at Southwind and at
And then
wherever the BMW is.
how does um how does one really complain if someone wins the tour championship? Because they had to win to get there, or they played well all year.
Yeah.
I That might be my best realistic take that I've heard. Because match play is never happening,
No,
maybe not never, but it's not happening soon.
yeah. I think it's a good because if you make it tight enough,
Yeah,
where like you've got guys like Morikawa or um who's played really
yeah.
well this year but hasn't won.
Campos headed to the tour championship.
Right. Well,
It's a good
that's
question. Who's
kind
the
of the point,
best
though, is
player to go
like
with?
Morikawa's got to be like, what? Like, I would kick Campos' butt all week. But it's like,
Well,
well,
Well, the
golf
Rangers
tournament.
thought that
And
he'd kick the
it would
Caps'
get
butt, but they didn't
it
get
would
there. So
it would maybe even get more guys to play events that they otherwise wouldn't play.
yeah, I agree.
'Cause
I think
maybe
that's a really good.
more
I think
dudes
that's a
would come
really
up
good
to
observation.
Detroit to try and win that event so that they could lock their way into the final. And you know, I that would add some spice. So I might email Monahan here when we're done and get him on the line with uh God, I'm blanking on the live guy's name too. Let's see if we can work out a
Yasir.
solution here. Yes, there we
Yasir.
go. Thank you. Yeah. An interesting amount happened
I
on
like your
Tuesday,
idea,
May
Dan.
27th.
Yeah, it's been an interesting Tuesday in golf.
Dan's idea is good. I like it.
Should
Even
we
though
get into
Scheffler went eight
triple
times.
double?
Yeah, yeah. Speaking of Scheffler, I'm using
Yeah,
Scheffler in triple
might as
double
well
this
roll right
week.
into it.
Yeah.
Hey.
I'm I'm happy to announce that I'll be leading triple double after this week because Scheffler's going to win the golf tournament. So there's that. Um,
Well,
You don't say it with much enthusiasm.
I hate to burst your bubble.
it's just it's inevitable.
I hate to burst your bubble, but I will also be taking Scheffler.
That's fine. That means Dan could be in some big trouble.
Yeah, I'll just say this. There's no better spot on the calendar left to use him than this week,
In
given the
theory,
purse. I mean, Oak wants a good spot, but like I'll be using Bryson, so
you've yeah, that's good. Um,
Chills.
so I guess it'll come down to who our other guys are, Bob. And the good news is I had to kind of freaking work to figure out who I wanted to use because I've used like a million guys twice already. So I'm going Hideki,
Hmm.
um,
I like
who
that.
is a past champion. And I'm going with the captain. Going with the captain. Captain
Captain
Keegan.
Pat Reed.
No, not Captain.
Luke Donald. I didn't know he was in the field.
Ah, not good old Luke. Although Luke did beat Spieth at Quail Hollow. So that is something to note. Um, but I'm going Captain Keegan, and I've said it numerously. Captain Keegan, as of right now, should be playing at Bethpage Black. Don't
Agree.
care if he's not in on points. He's a top 12 American.
Someone needs to
I
slap him and be like, "You must pick yourself."
Yeah,
yeah.
now he's hurting the team. Well, I mean, we'll see where we are in 3 months or so. But as of
The Ryder
now,
Cup's interesting because I could make takes about the American Ryder Cup team for about an hour and a half.
yeah, there's a lot of low T guys on there, but Keegan, not low T.
Yeah. Well, the
And he
fact
has a
that
winning record in the competition.
yeah. And it's in his area, Northeast. Um,
Go Pats. Big Pats fan.
yeah, the fact that Spieth has been a top 12 American over the past 3 months does not bode well for the Americans. So
He's
that's kind
10th
of
too. It's not even like he's 12th. He's 10th.
yeah. Um, but speaking of Americans that are gonna start getting their game in gear, um, I don't have Scheffler. I think I only got like 1.2 or not even. I might have gotten 500 grand out of Scheffler this year, which is tough. Excuse me. I'm rolling Schauffele. It's it feels like it's time for him to return to form. He's played well here before. Even if he doesn't win, I'll take a second. Um, and then Morikawa has played well here before. He beat JT at the Workday Charity Open, I believe, in 2020. Way back when. So good course history. He hasn't played his best, but um, certainly I think it's just a good course fit. Fairways are going to be important this week if it's going to be soft. I've heard the rough is up, and I don't know. I think Morikawa finds his game a little bit this week, and then Hovland. Has not been great this year, but great course fit. He's actually hit the ball pretty well recently. It's more just the short game's been not good, but won here 2 years ago. I certainly think he could post another good week. Thought about Fleetwood, thought about Hideki as well. Um,
I love the
but
Fleetwood play.
just I think I have
Yeah.
Fleetwood penciled in at Port Rush.
It's
'Cause I
fair.
think he'll give
He can play anywhere.
I think he'll get another charge in him because he was close and well, close in 19. Um,
Yeah,
but
close is relative with that major, but
yeah, I think he'll be ready to give it another run there. Um, and I like his chances there better than I do Morikawa or uh Schauffele at this point, I suppose. And then Hovland as well. So
yeah. Is it me?
Yes.
I gave my reason for Scheffler. I was looking at the field this week, and without Rory, and given the just you have to be so mentally sharp around this place. I mean, every shot, just walking this golf course, I thought about playing it and thought about how mentally tiring it would be to play this golf course because truly you have to think about every shot so much. And some players aren't capable of that. And Scheffler is capable of that, and he's the best in the world at it. And I go as far to say that I'm not sure I would place the field at 6-1. I think that I wouldn't bet anything against Scheffler this week. I think that he is. I'd be shocked if he doesn't win. I'd be shocked. So that's my take on Scheffler now that Scheffler has no chance to win anymore. I'm taking Pat Cantlay because he's a course horse, and even when he's playing bad, he will play well at courses that he plays well at. Usually, he wasn't playing well going into Truist, still finished top like 6. I was gonna take Fleetwood, but found out that I didn't take him. I've already taken him twice. I actually think that Fleetwood is my pick to win Port Rush, to be honest, which is unfortunate because I don't have him to use. But I think his first win on tour is a major. But anyway, um, Aaron Rai, he's one of the straightest drivers in the golf ball, hits good golf shots in the greens, plays these type of golf courses well. Jordan's favorite.
Fourth in the model. Great play.
Yes.
Play.
He's very rarely not on the model.
is he
Great
really
player.
fourth in the model?
Yeah.
That is chilling. That's fantastic.
Spieth is 21st.
That's about right. That's probably where, well, if he makes the cut, that's probably
Overrated.
about finish.
Fleetwood's second. So yeah, I love
Fleetwood this week. I mean, if I could use Fleetwood every week for the rest of the season, I think I would. He is just it's incredible because I was watching him putt today. I mean, that putting stroke looks like it could never fail. Like I don't understand how under pressure it collapses. I mean, it is the most straight back, straight through, arms locked. Just there's no room for it to get shaky, and somehow it does. I mean, and not to mention he's just a ridiculous ball striker. He is unreal.
Morikawa's third too, Dan. So yeah, I like that.
Yeah. He's been
Yeah.
quiet recently though, but like that's why I kind of like I think he'll get it in gear. Where's Hovland? Just out of curiosity.
Hovland is I hate Hovland. He's 41st.
Oh,
Yeah, I don't we'll see. I just the
I feel
short
like
game around here. I know
yeah.
he
We should
won,
do an
but
episode where Jordan explains how he gets his model.
yeah, I would do that.
I think it's fascinating.
I yeah. I'm kind
Would you say the
of
short game's important around here?
No,
No. All right.
I don't think that'll be very telling. I don't think it's. I think you have to chip it well. Okay, here's how I'll word it. You'll have to chip it well to win, but you don't have to be a good short game player to chip well here. If that makes
Yeah, I mean
sense.
Hovland won.
Yeah, I mean that's my take. I think that a lot of the rough around the greens, you have to play one way all week. Like you
Hovland
only
was
like
also third in putting last year, but
your
I
mind is made
agree.
up for you around the greens, so there's not much creativity and craftiness. It's more of just get it onto the green, let it roll out. But so yeah, short game is going to be important this week. But my point was, it's not like great short game players are going to thrive, if that makes
I
sense.
think I'm also just kind of seeing that both of you are rolling Scheffler at a time when he's gone win-win T4.
Feel bad for you, Dan.
I kind of need to um take a play that actually could also get me a win, and that's Hovland. Like he could win in theory.
You're going with Hovland as your guy for that?
Yeah. Well, who would you roll with
Morikawa.
other than that?
Oh, I'm
Who?
sorry, Hovland.
Morikawa.
I have I'm also playing Morikawa.
I love Morikawa this week. If I could, I'd use him.
I
Yeah.
am.
Yeah.
No, so but I think him and
I'm looking
Shoffley
forward
will
to the
get me a good
Morikawa
chunk of
T28
change.
and Scott won.
And if
I don't think,
Hovland pops, he pops. If he doesn't, he doesn't.
yeah,
Yeah, that's fair.
but yeah.
Because I mean, I could just trade him with Fleetwood, but I kind of feel like Fleetwood's due for a clunker. That's my take.
Yeah.
I mean, Mr. Green Box is rarely a clunker, man.
Yeah. No, I don't disagree. But a lot of people are on Fitzpatrick this week too, because he's found some
Don't,
form. But I think
I don't really
he's an
understand that.
interesting cat sometimes. I'm not sure this is his week.
What do they mean by finding some form?
Mm,
Like
just his
two,
numbers are good.
like a
He flushed it at the
T23 at the
PGA.
truest and a T8, and you're on him all. I don't know. I feel like you got to play a
He's played
little
well
bit.
at Memorial.
Yeah. I saw people are on Connors too. I like
Andy's
Connors.
Morikawa's or not Morikawa. Fitzpatrick's also 66 to 1, which I think is probably a number that people like quite a bit.
I mean, you could bomb and gouge this place.
Yeah.
Want to?
Yeah, you could. That'd be
Winning
Spieth's
scores.
route this week.
Absolutely. So if he goes that route,
One more guy that I played last week that I think could play well is Mr. Siwoo.
See, woo.
He feels like a win is coming and it'll
I
kind of
feel
be out of
like
nowhere.
I agree. He just needs to make putts. That dude cannot
He is a random
putt.
man.
I feel like one of the years when I followed the Saturday final group here of Mr. Spieth and Mr. Keimer. Mr.
You're a
Keimer,
champion.
great champion. One great champion in that group. That's funny that was a Saturday final group like 6 years ago. Um, one's moved on to bigger and better things.
Go Cleeks.
It's I feel like Siwoo was in the group behind, if I'm not mistaken.
Siwoo has 5 straight data golf green boxes at Memorial.
What did he do in 2019?
T41.
Oh, maybe it was another
Could have been a
Kim.
blow up on Saturday for Mr. Wu. That happens from time to time.
I feel
His
like it
last five
absolutely just might have been another Kim.
his last 5 appearances here, he's went 18, 9, 13, 4, 15.
So maybe it's his week for gold.
I feel like
I'm
embracing
gonna
my
look
inner
up the Memorial
scratch
leaderboard
gambler
right here.
here. My inner scratch gambler. Like, what is Siwoo's top 20 odds this week?
Let me look.
He's 5 for his last 5, playing
Playing good golf.
good golf.
You said top 20?
Yeah.
I bet it's
Like, I know it's a small field, so that can't help me. But
No, that definitely doesn't.
I don't know. My
ooh,
odd guessing
looks
is
like plus
horrible.
139, plus 139.
The field comes in at minus 475 against Scheffler, by the way. Um, Mr. Siwoo is plus 105.
Okay.
Plus money.
I don't read it. There's worse bets
Not bad.
around that number, I would say.
Could
And he's playing good golf.
parlay that with the Scheffler win, and you've got a nice little
I see value there.
good Scheffler. What's Scheffler this week? 4-1,
No.
3.5,
3.
3.
What are his top 5 odds? This is funny.
Minus 185.
Oh my goodness, that's great.
That's
What are
absurd.
Spieth's? 15-1.
Way down the board. Oh no,
Keep
he's way at the
scrolling.
top. Just the worst bet on the board you'll find. 6-1.
6-1.
Yes.
That's awful.
I
Every week.
know. There may not be a worse bet on the entire MGM sportsbook.
And instead of betting on Spieth, people should just give their money to his foundation.
Yes, I'm sure Spieth would appreciate that as well.
Yeah, like that's just a
Yes.
much better way to go about it.
Yeah.
Because
He is a positive course fit for me this week.
Jones,
Barely.
do we applaud a good golf course, and he's a good course fit? Barely.
I have higher hopes this week than last week, Ed.
Well, if he's got the pulls, I believe it should be a better
Bob,
result.
what would you say is what's the better miss here, left or right?
Um,
I'm actually
it's
curious.
right. I without even thinking about it, it's right because I'm pretty sure Jack said he never made a course that didn't favor the fading right-hander. I'm pretty sure he never made a
Yeah.
course that didn't favor his ball flight. So
Thanks for that.
he
Yeah,
said he
the
did it on
left-
purpose too.
Left miss on 3 could be wet.
He said that playing golf with a fade was the correct way to play golf.
Thanks for that.
Left miss on 5 is what?
Yeah.
Left miss on 8 is not good.
No, it was right.
Yeah, but it's at least like pitched into the slope a little bit. Left
Oh,
miss
there
on
One, the
we
11,
better
go.
miss
not
is
good.
right. 2, the better miss is left. 3, there's no miss. 4, right. 5, right. 6, right. 7, right. 8, right. 9, probably left. So that's 7 of the 9. on the front.
11, you can't miss left.
Nope.
No.
10 better misses right. 12, there is no miss. 13,
13
better
better
misses
right.
Right.
left. So I think that bunker's not too hard. Actually, no, it's probably right. That there are some pins where left's dead. This is so far below. But yeah.
14.
14,
14,
you
you have
have
to
to
miss
make that
left.
fairway.
15.
I wonder if Spieth's ever experimenting shutting up and playing for the getting quick.
Oh God. I hope not.
Could be chills.
Yeah, that might be going back to Dallas. That's the other thing though, is like as we kind of ramble to the finish here, he was one shot away from making the cut at Quail, and then also one shot away from missing the cut at Colonial. Like, if things don't go a little bit better this week, we're on a spot where he could miss one of these cuts at like there's a cut this week. And if he's not within, if Scheffler's up at 10 under and Spieth's lurking +1, +2,
Have to go 67, 67.
I
Ugh.
mean, we could be looking at this 5 week stretch as a full solo 4 at Ranch, and that's all she wrote.
What was the lead
See, he's
after?
improved on the play at Ranch.
Yeah,
Scheffler
solo
was
4 at Ranch where he
67,
lost by
68.
12.
Oh, Ranch was a garbage time to start Saturday.
Frequenter of garbage time as of late.
Yes, plenty of garbage time. But all I know is it would be nice to play the weekend because I don't have high hopes for our next event.
Yes, that is true. Well, yeah, that's kind of and then he doesn't play Travelers particularly well either.
No,
Like,
not at all.
there's a possibility we are looking at MCs, although Travelers is a SIG, right?
Yes.
So no cut there.
4 rounds.
Yeah.
4 rounds.
So yes, 4 guaranteed there. But
A paycheck.
yes, Growler might need one.
Yes. Yes.
Growler's gotta love the signature events.
He certainly does. It's amazing how yeah, being a has been can get you some stuff today. But um yeah, I don't have any more thoughts.
I don't either.
None here. Just
It was a great ramble.
I am more optimistic this week than last. My prediction is it'll be better than a T36 this week.
Of course, this sets up so good for him, man. Like if he drives the ball like he did today.
There'll be chances.
Just take greens, fairways and greens.
Yeah. I can't wait for the like 9 out of 14 fairways and the 11 out of 18 greens on Thursday or Friday or something.
And the
Just
1 for
like,
4 scrambling.
come on, man. Yeah.
That means
Like, yeah, the 3 for 7 scrambling, and it's the scrappiest 73 you've ever seen in your life. Like, Jesus, dude. You really have to do that. But,
Oh yes, he does.
yeah. Well,
Uh-huh.
until then.
Oh, one more thing. Congrats to Barbara on being the honoree this year.
Congrats to Barbara.
I heard there were a lot of great candidates, but she stood out
Well-
above the rest.
Well, yeah,
She
there
deserves
aren't
it.
many better candidates.
No.
Safe to say Rory will never be winning or being the
No.
honoree.
Rory, also a big player of the draw. So maybe it's just not his course.
Yeah. Yep.
Mr. Nicholas the Fader.
Rory plays golf the wrong way.
He plays golf the incorrect way.
Correct way. But yeah, I think
Gene Sarazen was the honoree
Yes.
in 1979.
yes.
Sarazen.
Thank you for Tom Morris Sr. and Tom Morris Jr. The honor is 87. Do not think they were around.
No.
We honor young and old Tom, but Jordan, played a fade. So
Yeah.
they
They
have
didn't
to
cheat
be
like
Do
honest.
they only honor faders of the golf ball?
Pretty sure Miss Nicholas plays a fade.
I agree.
It's a DJ-esque fade out of
Yeah,
Barbara.
the 190-yard fade. But yeah, I think that's all we got.
Chills.
Chills. But yeah. Every time we're on site, I always say that I'll go live if anything happens, but I don't think I've gone live once, so I'm not even gonna say it.
Yeah,
Just let it happen.
So,
Let it come naturally.
yeah,
exactly.
let's hope it's a good week and see you next week.
Talk to you soon.
Sounds good. Peace out.